Thank you, Grants. How are you? I'm just sending out notifications. We'll be jumping right in just a moment. All right, my friends. Hey, Robert. Robert is here. How are you? All right. Oops. All right, let's get this show started, shall we? Okay. Like that. Here's our LIGHTNINGROD Collectibles Live. Purveyors, Lepine, Ephemera. LIGHTNINGROD Collectibles, bringing you the best and the coolest of the diamonds, modern, copper, rock, silver, and the gold age of copper. You're actually Welcome, my friends, to Lightning Rod Collectibles Live. I'm your host, Michael D. Lepine. You're watching episode number 460. We got some great stuff for you. Let me just tell you, on this episode, you're going to see some great items, some of which are already up on the board, and we'll talk about each one of them one-on-one. You've probably seen the list that I have posted for everything that's going to be on today's show. So if you see something that's on the list, which is on the post on my Facebook page just before this live post, if you see something that you want, just type in the feed and ask me about it. It may not be planned for the beginning of the rotation for the show, but I can always move things up and back as I choose. So all you have to do is just say, I'd like to see such and such a book right now. Your wish is my command. So a couple things you should know. We have some specific types of sales on this show. We have auctions. We have regular standard auctions that'll start at whatever price Lightning Rod sets the auction to be, and it'll go until somebody is declared a winner. And I have my trusty little gavel to make sure that everything goes smoothly and sold, just like that. So we have those, and we also have reserve auctions. Reserve auctions go like this. There is a hidden auction price, a reserve bid that's hidden on the items that have reserve auctions marked on them. Well, they're not written on them, but you'll see it in the feed on Facebook. All you have to do, and I will announce which ones are reserve auction items. I am under no obligation to sell any reserve item that has not met its reserve. The best way that you can make sure you hit the reserve is to keep on bidding. If you place a bid and I say you have not hit the reserve bid, I'll basically say thank you for your bid, but the reserve has not been met. That means you have to keep on bidding. I will only announce if somebody hits that reserve bid or surpasses it. That's when I will announce when the reserve has been met. And then I am obligated to sell the book at whatever the final bid value happens to turn out to be at that point going forward. So that can be very exciting, because you'll probably get to bid against somebody else who's trying to get the same item. So that just fosters the spirit of auction competition. Then we also have claim sales. Claim sales are at a set price, the price that Lightning Rod sets. The person who is the first to say claim in the feed will get the item in question at the price in question. And then we have a special kind of claim. It's called what we here at Lightning Rod like to call today's Lightning Rod special value. Today's Lightning Rod special value will always feature an item that is a premium item that's usually very expensive, but will be offered to you for claim at a very deep discount. So we always have a couple of those at least on our show. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to introduce all these books one by one. You should know that we accept, as forms of payment, PayPal, Apple Pay, and Square. And Square is basically primarily for those people who either don't have PayPal or don't like using PayPal. And I'm kind of with you there. You know, PayPal has its ups and downs. And I wouldn't use PayPal if I didn't have to. But there's so many of my customers that do, so I keep it open for them. So you have that option. We are going to ship your items using the United States Postal Service's priority mail. It'll either be, depending on how many books you buy or how many items you buy, it'll be either in a priority mail envelope or a priority mail box. And there's two sizes that we can do, either a medium size or a large size. Personally, I think in some respects the medium size is larger than the large, but that's debatable. You should also know that I will ship your items to you very well protected, with protection from the elements and protection from mishandling in mind. Why do I say mishandling? Because I don't trust anybody in the post office. So I make sure books are wrapped up so that it prevents bending, prevents getting wet. For all of you friends of Lightning Rod that live in very rainy or even snowy locations, I will protect your books and other items that you buy from Lightning Rod from your packages being dropped. It's going to be a very rare occurrence if a package that we ship off to you is damaged by the post office. You basically have to have a truck run over our package in order for it to be damaged. And if that ever happens, we will take care of you. And just so you know, our rates are as follows. Anywhere from 1 to 9 comics. Yes. From 1 to 8 comics, $9 priority mail. Anywhere from 9 comics to 25 comics will be shipped in a priority mail box for $17. So now that I've given you the skinny on all of that, let me take a sip of my drink and wet my whistle, because talking nonstop on this show for 3.5 hours is thirsty business. Stand by, please. Thank you for indulging me. And we're going to get started. We'll start with the first book that's at the top left-hand corner. Let me just adjust my mic. Click it on. All right, we're good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the book in question. I'm going to put it up to the forefront right here. And let me make sure on my camera that everything can be seen properly. Oh, and Robert Kennedy says having pancakes with peanut butter for dinner. Oh, wow. That's cool. Pancakes with peanut butter. Can't go wrong there. All right. First off is this book that I just put on our display. Let me bring it up a little bit closer. All right. I kind of like that. Yeah, let's see. All right, this is a claim item. It is a Bronze Age claim item from Marvel Comics. Bronze Age claim item from Marvel. Hold on, I'm finding I have to reload. There we go. I had to reload my Facebook page. All right, here we go. It's now in the feed. It is a Bronze Age Marvel Comics claim item. It is Werewolf by Night, Volume 1, Number 4. Werewolf by Night, Volume 1, Number 4. Hold on, give me 1 second. I don't know what that was. All right. Werewolf by Night. Volume 1, number 4. Let me give you the stats on it. This is the 4th issue of the original series. The story is by Jerry Conway. The art by Mike Plug. With inks by Frank Bollet. The cover is by Mike Plug. This issue features the introduction and the death at the end of the issue of a character named Joshua Kane, who captured Jack Russell and his sister Lissa just for the purpose of hunting Jack Russell, because he knew that Jack Russell could turn into the werewolf by night. This is the 4th appearance of Jack Russell's sister Lissa, and also the 4th appearance of Werewolf by Night as well. And this is also the issue that Lissa learns for the first time that her brother Jack is the werewolf. Great issue. Written by Jerry Conway. Even though I gave you these stats before, I'll tell you one more time. The art is by Mike Plug and Frank Bollet. The cover is by Mike Plug. This came out in March of 1973, so that makes this book a Bronze Age book. The grade range is 3.5, very good minus, to 4.0, very good condition. I will tell you why that is. You see that chunk in the corner, bottom right-hand corner? That is a chunk out of the cover. It is about a ½ an inch. Unfortunately, that's the way it was when I bought it. That chunk puts it into that grade, 3.5 to 4.0. Still a readable, desirable copy. This is a buy it now item. Claim it, and Werewolf by Night Volume 1, Number 4 is yours for $7. Claim it, and it is yours for $7. Okay, I'm going to show you the next set of books in just a second. All right, and we're going to move on to the next book. These books are going to be available throughout the entire show until somebody claims or buys one of them, or any of them. After the show ends, whatever has not been sold is also still available. All you have to do is write me at the end of the show. Contact me through Messenger. If we've moved on to a book and the show is still going on, all you have to do is ask me to bring something back, and I am more than happy to do so. All right, here's the next setup. Okay, here's the next set. You're looking at a Copper Age DC Comics Reserve Auction set. This is a reserve auction. Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters. Numbers 1, 2, and 3. Look at those gorgeous painted covers by Mike Grell. Awesome issues. Great story. Green Arrow and Black Canary go after a team of drug smugglers, aided and assisted by a mysterious Japanese archer. A mysterious female Japanese archer named Shadow. Great miniseries. Incidentally, you should know that this miniseries, which was printed in prestige-bound format, this is prestige format is what they called it. It's a square-bound format. It's not saddle-stitched like most standard comics are, with staples. No staples here. This series, Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters, was the second series to be published at DC in this format, in the square-bound prestige format. This is the second prestige format series that DC ever did. The first prestige format series was Frank Miller's Batman, The Dark Knight Returns. This followed right on its heels. The story and the cover are by The story and the covers are by Mike Grell. And Mike Grell was fresh off of his run at First Comics on the character John Sable Freelance. And I love that character. Sable was cool. It was a great series. Even made it to become a TV series, a short-lived one-season series called Sable. And it was about a guy who, in his normal cover, wrote children's books. But under cover of night, he would hire himself out to those people who needed help. And he would solve their cases and solve crimes and smash the bad guys. It's kind of like The Equalizer. Great series. The story and covers are by Mike Grell. The art is by Mike Grell with inks and art assist by Lorene Haynes. This also features the first appearance of Shadow in issue 1 and the origin of Shadow, and there she is with Green Arrow. The origin of Shadow in issue 2. Issue 3 concludes the storyline. Let's see if you can see that. Not well. trying to display these as best I can. There, that's better. Green Arrow, The Longbow Hunters, issues 1, 2, and 3. Now, as I told you, thank you. I hope I stopped it. What's the good view? But you let me know if I didn't, and I'll try and alter it, Robert. This is a reserve auction item. The reserve auctions always start at $1. The only guarantee that I can give you is that this set, I guarantee you, will not sell at $1. Part of the reason why we do that, a couple reasons. One, to attract bidders who like to start low and then climb higher in their bids. And the other reason is to protect Lightning Rod's investment. Lightning Rod doesn't really want to lose money on any of the items that are seen on the show. So this is how we do that. Doug Pettigrew, how are you, dude? Thank you for joining us. Long time no see. Now, as I was saying, reserve auction. There's a secret, hidden reserve item. That's reserve item bid. Secret reserve bid. I know what that secret reserve bid is. I'm not going to tell you what it is until you hit it. So, let's say you put in your bid. You don't have to start at $1. We're living good, man. We're doing good. Hope you are too. You can start your bid at any figure, any price. You don't have to start at $1. But the items that are reserve items will always start at $1. Let's say you bid $1 on this 3-issue set. I will come back to you and say, thank you so much for your bid. Your reserve has not been met yet. You want to find out what the reserve bid is? You have to keep bidding. Even if in events where there are not enough people on the show, you may be the only person that's bidding, but you want this item. So place another bid. Bid higher. And know that under no circumstance am I obligated to sell the book or books in question if the reserve has not been met. If by the end you haven't hit the reserve, I will mark the item in question unsold. So I encourage you to place as many bids as you can. It is if you really want the items. Once the reserve has been hit or surpassed by a bidder, I am obligated to sell that book or that item or that set at whatever final bid price that the item closes at. So that's it. We have this item set, Green Arrow, The Longbow Hunters, numbers 1, 2, and 3, open. The opening bid is $1. You can bid whatever you want. And the bidding shall continue even after I put these books back on the rack, which I am just about to, so we can move on to the next book. All right, we're going to move up to the next item. I can go back to any items that have already been on close-up so far. I can go forward to any books that you want me to go forward to. Everything is still open until it's not any longer. Now we'll go to this one. Cool Bronze Age issue. All right, we've got the ticker at the bottom. And now we got everything in the feed. Our next book, a Bronze Age Marvel Comics claim item. This is a claim item. Iron Man, Volume 1, number 110. Iron Man, Volume 1, number 110. Cool issue, great cover. The cover is by Dave Cockrum, with inks by Terry Austin. The story is by Bill Mantlo. Bill Mantlo was one of the most prolific and one of the busiest writers at Marvel during the 70s and 80s. In fact, one of the books he helped create, based on a toy property, was Rom Space Knight. He was the writer from issue 1. Also, when the Micronauts came to comics as a major toy property, Bill Mantlo wrote the first issue and many issues afterward. Bill Mantlo was a very cool writer. He's still with us, but unfortunately in the late 90s, Bill Mantlo was in a car accident in New York City. He was actually on, I believe it was a bicycle. And he was the victim of a hit and run by a motor vehicle. And he landed wrong on his head. Even though I believe he wore a helmet, he still landed wrong. It's a terrific impact. He has had mental issues with his brain function ever since. Many of the characters that he has created, some of them have made it to motion pictures. Like, for example, Rocket Raccoon in the Guardians of the Galaxy films. Yes, that was another creation of Bill Mantlo's. I believe he created that character once that character first appeared in the pages of The Incredible Hulk. And the proceeds from that film, that series of films, the Guardians of the Galaxy films from Marvel MCU, have helped his family. I believe his brother and sister are his caretakers and have been for many years. they have helped pay for his medical bills. Helped a great deal. So God bless them for that. This issue features the appearance of the Jack of Hearts. I've always liked that character, but can you imagine for the artist how much of a pain in the butt it is to draw that uniform? You can just imagine an artist getting the assignment. He's like, oh, I gotta draw Jack of Hearts. Oh. But he's a cool character. Also appearing in the issue, Jasper Sitwell, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Crimson Dynamo, the Vanguard, and Darkstar. Both the Vanguard and Darkstar are heroes of the Soviet Union. Madame Mask, an old nemesis of Shellheads, and the alien Rigelians and the Knights of Wundagore. Great issue from May 1978, Bronze Age issue. The grade range is between 8.0, very fine, to 8.5, very fine plus condition. This is a buy it now book. Claim it, and it is yours for $18. Claim it, and it is yours for $18. It sounds like the missus is home because our four-legged children are barking her arrival. I will go greet her briefly. So enjoy the music. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching Lightning Rod Collectibles live. All right, my friends. Like with Arthur, I have returned. Yes, that's doggies. They're happy to see mommy. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next book in just a second. It's another set that's coming up. All right, moving on. Anything that has not sold is still available. All right, here we go. This is the next set. Next set of books. 2-issue set. Copper Age, Marvel Comics, Reserve Auction Set. It is Fantastic Four, Volume 1, number 182 on the left and 183 on the right. The story is by Lynn Wein, Jim Shooter, Archie Goodwin, Bill Mantlo, Roger Stern, Ralph Macchio, and Roger Slipher. Now, when a book, at least back in those days, had all of those writers attached to it, or if it had just as many artists attached to it, and it's a regular issue, you know what I learned that meant? It really learned that meant that the book was behind schedule. And they had to scramble to get help from other creators to finish the book, to finish the story, to finish the art, whatever was going to put the book as close to deadline as possible, or at least as close as they could be if they were already late, from not being any more late. But there's a lot of good talents that went and put this story together. The art is by Sal Buscema, the penciler, and the inker, Joe Sinnott, on both issues. Part 1 and Part 2. It's a Negative Zone adventure. George Perez, well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. First, Ron Wilson did the first cover, issue number 182, with inks by Joe Sinnott. And the second part of the story, issue number 183, was penciled by the late, great George Perez. With also inks by Joe Sinnott. These two issues feature the 8th and the 9th appearance of the Brute, who was also known as an alternate universe version of Reed Richards. Reed Richards, of course, is the Fantastic Four, of the Fantastic Four matriarch, Mr. Fantastic. You know him as the stretchy guy. And he's got a big brain, too. And The Brute is the Reed Richards of Earth, number 1123. And it's also the 8th and 9th appearances of the Imp, known as the Impossible Man. Also, there are appearances in this issue by Thundra, Tigra, the Witch Woman Agatha Harkness, Annihilus, and the Mad Thinker. These issues came out in May and June of 1977. That makes them Bronze Age books. The opening bid is $1. This is a reserve auction item, a reserve auction set. $1 is the opening bid. The reserve is hidden. I will not reveal the reserve until somebody hits it or surpasses it. Robert, is that you? Are you still with me? Yes, I'm still here, Robert says. Very good. We're going to move on to the next book in just a moment. All right. Who else has joined us? Give me a shout out. Just type it in the feed who you are so we can greet you properly. All right, we're going to move on. Everything so far is still available. Just let me know if you want to claim anything or if you want to put a bid in on something. Here's the next one up. All right. We have ourselves here a Bronze Age DC Comics claim item. This is Showcase Volume 1, number 97. Just wondering if you had any luck on any of the comics I sent pictures of to you. Shoot. You need to please refresh my memory on those, Robert. So while I wait for his answer. Showcase Volume 1, number 97. The story is by Paul Levitt. The art and cover are by Joe Staton and my old college instructor, Joe Orlando, who was one of the founding artists of Mad Magazine and worked under a lot of EC comic books. You know, the Vault of Horror and things like that. This issue is mentionable because it is the first solo appearance of Power Girl. First solo appearance. First time she had her own book. Her own solo adventure. This is from February 1978. That makes it a Bronze Age book. The grade ranges on this issue are between 5.0, very good, fine, to 5.5, fine minus condition. This is a claim item. This is a buy it now. Claim it and it is yours for $16. $16, and it is yours. All right, Robert, I'm looking at the photos. I have not come across any information on these items as of yet. So thank you for reminding me. I have started looking, have not been able to track down anything as of yet. But I'm still looking. Thank you for the shout out, Paul. It's been a long time since we've seen you on the show. I hope he's on the air where he can join us. Not a problem. Not a problem. So far, we haven't had any sales yet. We just got started a short while ago. We're on until 7:30 Pacific time. So we've got about 2 hours left. Have many, many other things to show you. We're going to move on to the next item. Anything that has not sold yet is still available. So please let me know if something strikes your fancy. I can always go back to it. Another great issue. I'm doing good, Paul. How are you? Hope all is well with you. All right, we're going to give you the stats on this next book that I just put up. King of Spies. Good series. Well, that's Mark Millar. So anything he comes up with, he just hits them out of the park one after the other. I will keep an eye out for you. Let me know if you have any issues already, so that I know not to grab up issues you may already have. All right, my friends. This is the next book. Okay, cool. Thank you for the heads up. Thank you. This book is a Bronze Age Marvel Comics claim item. Claim it and it's yours for $10. I'll buy it now for $10. It is The Incredible Hulk, Volume 2, number 206. For those of you that might be momentarily thrown off when I say Volume 2, Volume 1 of the Incredible Hulk came out in the 60s, and it was only 6 issues long. And those are great issues. Issues drawn by Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. And there was at least one issue, maybe 2, where Jack Kirby penciled and Steve Ditko did the inks over Jack Kirby's work. Now that's something you don't see every day, at least back then. This issue's story is by Len Wein. The art is by Sal Buscema, who did the pencils, and Joe Staton, who did the inks. Same artist on that showcase with Power Girl. The cover, and I love this cover, by Dave Cockrum, with inks by Sal Buscema. This issue features an appearance by Doc Samson, S.H.I.E.L.D., and the Defenders. They show up at the very end. And it should be mentioned, that face on the Hulk, that's not a Dave Cockrum face. That is a John Romita Sr. face. Occasionally, he was called in to sometimes redraw heads on covers, sometimes to redraw entire figures. $10, and it is yours. Great issue. 7.5, very fine minus to 8.0, very fine condition, from December 1976. All right, moving on to the next book. Everything is still available. Now we're going to bring out a Diamond Age book. Who's been following Star Wars on Disney Plus? The Mandalorian? The Book of Boba Fett? Well, this character appeared in the Book of Boba Fett. This is a scene from the Book of Boba Fett. But of course, he's appeared in the Star Wars comics too. There was an epic battle in the comics between this character and Obi-Wan Kenobi, in which Obi-Wan gave him a very visible, which will be seen in the close-ups of him, scar across his eye, or down his eye. All right, this book is a Diamond Age Marvel Comics Reserve Auction. So we've got another reserve auction coming your way. Sounds like one of the dogs wants to come in. Well, that's not going to happen. He's just following Mommy. Mommy's making their dinner now. If the dogs can guarantee me they can sell some books for me, I'd let them in. So, this is a Diamond Age Marvel Comics Reserve Auction item. It is Chrysanthemum Star Wars Tales, number 1. It's actually number 1B, I should say. In fact, I can edit that, so let me put that B in. All right. This has reprints from Star Wars Volume 2, number 14 and 15, and issue number 20, Star Wars Darth Vader, number 14 and 15, and Dr. Aphra Annual, number 1. All issues in which Chrysanthemum appears in and plays a prominent role in the story. The stories are written by Jason Aaron and Kieron Gillen. Kieron Dwyer is an artist for Marvel. I don't know what he's doing lately. I haven't seen his work in a long time. He used to do Captain America for a while. Very well, actually. Kieron Gillen. And the artwork is by Mike Mayhew, who I used to work with at Topps Comics. I used to be the letterer on the Zorro comic, which was drawn by Mike Mayhew. He was just starting out. And written by Don McGregor. Also, artwork by Mike Deodato Jr., Salvador Larroca. Actually, Salvador Larroca is a cousin of a really good friend of mine, another great artist for Marvel. And he's also worked for Harris Comics on some Vampirella books, Mark Texiera. Salvador is his cousin. And also Mark Lamming and Will Sliney. The cover, or at least the art cover, is by Salvador Larroca, but this is the photo cover. This is the variant. Published in July of 2022. The grade range on this issue is between 9.8 near mint to 9.9 mint condition. The opening bid, as with all reserve items, is $1. $1 is the opening bid. Of course, you can bid any amount above $1 as an opening bid, but the minimum is $1. The reserve price, well, you have to jump into the bidding in order to find that out. All right, we're going to move on to the next book. No sales as of yet. Anything that has not sold is still available. All right, this is a Bronze Age Marvel Comics claim item. Now in the feed, The Tomb of Dracula, number 38. The Tomb of Dracula, number 38. Tomb of Dracula. In fact, we just lost the longtime inker and great inker on anything he did for Marvel, Tom Palmer. Died a few weeks ago. Another great loss to comic history. Nothing catches your eyes yet. That's okay. We've got a lot more stuff coming. Tomb of Dracula, number 38. Is that a black comic setting there on the bottom right or just part of the shelf? That's part of the shelf. It's actually a wall hanging on the ships of Star Trek. It's got the USS Enterprise, the original, and underneath it the Enterprise D, which was the Picard's ship, the Defiant, which was the ship that guarded and protected Deep Space Nine, the Starship Voyager underneath that, commanded by Catherine Janeway, and the Starship USS Discovery at the bottom, which is now commanded by Captain Michael Burnham. So didn't have the chance to hang that up yet. So, Tomb of Dracula, as I was saying, Mark Wolfman did the story. The art and the cover by Gene Colan and Tom Palmer. And Tom Palmer, in my opinion, was the best inker over Gene Colan's pencils. Gene Colan's pencils, and I had him as an instructor in college as well, he was hard to ink. Very hard to ink. Country singer Loretta Lynn, we just lost her too. Yes, I am aware. And we also lost, I think within the last 24 hours, we lost an awesome artist. Let's see if I can pull up his info. I'm having trouble finding his, he's a Korean artist. There it is. Kim Jong-gi. He passed away suddenly within the last 24 hours, and I guess he was supposed to make an appearance at New York Comic Con, which is now going on. That man's art was phenomenal. Oh my God. If you're not familiar with him, look him up. Kim, K-I-M, first name. Last name, Jung, J-U-N-G, hyphen, capital G-I. Kim Jung-gi. His work was absolutely amazing, and he will be missed. Okay, we're going to move on to some other items. All right. Got to pull some new books up. I'm getting ready to clear the board with some new items. Please be advised, anything that has not sold is still available. Oop. All right, some more juicy things. No, unfortunately, I don't have anything by Kim Jong-gi. To tell you the truth, I only discovered him a couple of months ago. And at the store where I first discovered his work is very expensive. So I just made a mental note as I was looking through his stuff. I got to come back when I've got some real money. All right. Let's see what we'll do next. By the way, if I didn't say anything about that Tomb of Dracula issue, it was a buy it now for $12. The grade range is 6.5, fine plus, to 7.0, fine, very fine, from November 1975. And it featured an appearance by the villainous Dr. Sun, who has also appeared in the pages of the Fantastic Four. Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do too, my friend. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. You are free and welcome to like and share our broadcast on Facebook if you're watching on Facebook. But if you happen to be watching on YouTube, or if you want to watch on YouTube, just go to the Lightning Rod Collectible channel. And when you go to the Lightning Rod Collectible channel, be sure to subscribe. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know you're a big Godzilla fan. Oh, before we even get to these books, I got something else. Something else as in not a comic, something else. But comic related. Ooh, this is pretty. Gotta bring the camera down. All right. Let me put this in the feed real quick. All right. And we're putting this in the feed. And here it is. This is a Diamond Age Factory X claim item. It is a limited edition Green Goblin mini bust from the Spider-Man motion picture, the first Spider-Man motion picture from 2002. This was the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man film, where Willem Dafoe played our friend the Green Goblin. And I want to make sure that I'm seeing this right. Here we go. Look at how beautiful this is. Look at how well sculpted it is. This is made out of resin. Comes in the original box. There's a certificate of authenticity inside the box. Show you that this is a limited edition item. That might be a little blurry, but this is number 1275 out of 3,000 pieces. And it stands at 6 inches tall. And the base is the top of the Green Goblin's dreaded jack-o'-lantern pumpkin bombs. Made exclusively by Factory X. Awesome figure. Six inches tall, resin figure, a mini bust, limited edition, numbered 1275 of 3,000, with a COA. The grade is 9.8. The grade range, 9.8, near mint to 9.9, mint condition. This is a buy it now item. Claim it, and it is yours for $30. $30, and this beautiful item is yours. All right, we're going to put up another item in just a moment. Okay, we're about to move on to the next item. Please remember, anything that has not sold is still available. All right. This goes back up. Adjust the panel back. All right, that's better. Let's start with these two. Can you get them both in? All right, what have we here? Still no sales yet. Hoping to see something soon. All right, our next item is a 2-issue set. Two-issue set, Diamond Age, DC Comics Reserve Auction. Reserve Auction set. Batman, One Dark Knight. Issue numbers 1B and issue number 2. The story and the art are by Jock. The variant cover, 1B, this one here, it's a variant cover by Cliff Chiang. Cover of issue number 2 is by Jock. It is a black label imprint title from DC. From DC Comics' Black Label series. With more adult themes and language, but still great stories. This is a magazine-size prestige format, and it features, in the first issue, the first appearance of a villain known as EMP. Of course, EMP stands for electromagnetic pulse. These 2 issues came out in February and May of 2022. The grade range is between 9.6 to 9.9, which means Issue number 1B is 9.6 to 9.8. And issue number 2 is 9.8 to 9.9. The opening bid on this 2-issue set is $1. The reserve, I can't say yet. That depends on the bids that come in. All right, we're moving on to the next book. Remember, there has been no sales yet. Everything is still up for grabs. Whoops. Nice save. There we go. That's much better. All right, who else has just joined us? Please identify yourself so that we can say hi to you proper. Here is our next item. All right, here we have a Copper Age DC Comics, a Copper Age Marvel Comics claim item. This item is on claim. That means claim it and it is yours. The price is $12. It's a $12 buy it now. It is Iron Man, Volume 1, number 200B. It is the direct edition because it doesn't have the lines in the box at the bottom left-hand corner. That's the barcode. That's where the barcode would be. Instead, it's got a Captain America face as drawn by John Byrne and Joseph Rubinstein back when they were drawing the Captain America book. It was a good run, too. This is Iron Man Volume 1, number 200B, story by Denny O'Neil, art and cover by Mark D. Bright, with inks by the team of Ian Aiken and Brian Garvey. I believe they are from either Great Britain or Scotland. And they always work together as a team inking comics for Marvel. This issue is a key issue. It features the death of Obadiah Stane, also known as the Ironmonger, who you see on the cover there. Obadiah Stane took Tony Stark's company away from him. And Tony Stark, as Iron Man, fought to get his company back, and he won. But the battle resulted in Obadiah Stane's death, which was a difficult win for Tony Stark, because based on his own designs, the Ironmonger armor was far superior. There are appearances in this issue also by Hawkeye and Mockingbird. At that time, they were members of the West Coast Avengers, and the villain organization known as the Chessmen. And actually, this issue served as major inspiration for the Marvel Cinematic Universe's first Iron Man movie. And it was actually the first film in what was considered the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe itself. It was the first film in Phase 1. And it was an exciting film. Jeff Bridges played Obadiah Stane, who was Tony Stark's partner, and decided to take the company away from Tony in the film when Tony decided he didn't want weapons that he intended for the military to fall into the wrong hands, which led to the creation of Iron Man in the first place. Great film. One of those movies, especially a movie within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that I will always stop to watch. And I think this film was the best. The first Iron Man was the best of all the Iron Man films. It is the best of all of Tony Stark's appearances, as played by Robert Downey Jr., for the exception of his final appearance at especially towards the end of Avengers Endgame. But please forgive me if I'm waxing nostalgic about some of the best films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I thought the MCU had a overall weak turnout in Phase 4, which is the current phase that's wrapping up. The last film in Phase 4 comes out next month, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, where, in my opinion, they have made a mockery of the Submariner. But, of course, you'll be able to see that for yourself if you decide, if you decide to go see the film. This issue, Iron Man 200B, came out in November 1985. The grade range is between 9.0, very fine near mint, and 9.2 near mint minus. This is a claim item. Buy it now. Claim it and it's yours for $12. All right, we're moving on to the next item. Please remember, everything is still available. Whoop. Everything's good. But this book is not the next item. Next item is another non-comic item coming right up. All right. Please identify yourself, O third person, so that we may greet you properly. Welcome to Lightning Rod Collectibles Live. I am your host, Michael D. Lepine, and you are watching episode number 460. Robert says, I just watched the new Thor movie. It was all right, not the best story. No, it wasn't the best story, and I would say you are kind, Robert. I think I disliked it quite a bit more than you did. Now, the last movie before this one on Thor Ragnarok, was very enjoyable. But I felt that The director, Taika Waititi, who also did the voice of Korg, the Rock Man in both films, in both that one and this one, Love and Thunder. I think he tried to tell the same style of jokes, and it was a little too over the top. The humor, there was more humor in it than there should have been. And Thor came across as a buffoon. I don't know if you've read, or if any of you watching, if you happen to go back on Facebook and YouTube after today to watch this episode, if any of you are unfamiliar with Thor and his place in Norse mythology, yeah, I liked Ragnarok a lot too. I really did. And I was hoping that this would be at least equal to it. But Love and Thunder was not. And if you, as I was saying, if you have read Norse mythology, Thor comes across as an idiot and a buffoon. A powerful buffoon, but yes, a buffoon. Dull, slow-witted. And I don't think that's the type of characterization for Thor that Stan Lee had in mind. And I think that's the major reason why he played up the heroic aspects within that character when he created Thor for Marvel. Because Thor was a character that he plucked out of the public domain that he could use as long as he tailored it to what he needed and what kind of stories he wanted to tell through the character. But of course, I digress. What we have in front of us is a Diamond Age Funko Pop claim item. I love Funko Pops. This is the Funko Pop Star Wars The Mandalorian Funko Pop featuring the Mandalorian and the child, who we all know his name is Grogu. And you can see him there, riding a bantha. The bantha, of course, are indigenous, as far as we know, to the planet Tatooine. This is a great vinyl figure, still in the original packaging. It's number 416 in the series. The figure stands at 6 inches tall. This came out in 2020. The grade range on it is 9.9 mint condition to 10.0 gem mint condition. Buy it now. Claim this item and it is yours for $25. This is a $40 value item. Claim it and it is yours for $25. All right, my friends, we're going to move forward. Everything is up for grabs. We haven't had any sales yet on today's show, so I'm hoping that'll change soon. Everything is still available. All right, my friends. Always wanted the Funko Pop Walmart exclusive Godzilla, but never saw him at my Walmart. Oh, yeah? I will keep my eye out. Because occasionally I do see things like that. I saw some great Walmart exclusive Funkos on Star Trek, on Kirk and Spock, that are really cool. All right, here we have a Bronze Age Marvel Comics claim item. This is The New Mutants, Volume 1, Number 2B, meaning that this is a direct edition copy. Story by Chris Claremont. The art is by Bob McLeod, with ink assists by Mike Gustovich and Bill Willingham. If you're into or knowledgeable about independent comics of the 80s, then you'd know those two names. Mike Gustovich was the co-creator of an independent comics group called The Justice Machine. And Bill Willingham was the creator of The Elementals. And that ran in Comico Comics. The cover of this issue is all Bob McLeod, pencils and inks. You know, I always like this effect on the cover. You see on Cannonball, you see how it's it looks like the inks on the plume that's surrounding him. It's not solid lines. It's kind of like breaking up a little bit. That's done deliberately. I'll tell you. There's two ways to do that. You can take a brush and load it up with India ink, and of course ink whatever else you're going to ink with it, until there's not a lot of ink left and it's partially drying on the brush. So you take the brush, and this is a brush you don't really care about too much. You use that brush, you apply a little pressure as the ink is drying on it, and it'll cause that effect. That's if you want to do it as a wet effect. If you were going to do it as a dry effect, you'd use a grease pencil. And if the paper that you're drawing on is textured, it's perfect. I love little techniques like that comic artists have. There are appearances in this issue by the Sentinels, which you can see on the cover. A different design configuration on them, although I like the way they look in this issue. And Sebastian Shaw from the Hellfire Club. This issue came out in April of 1983. It's nearing the end of the Bronze Age. The Bronze Age of comics had about one more year to go before it transitioned over to the Copper Age. The grade range on this issue is 9.0, very fine, near mint, to 9.2, near mint minus condition. This is a buy it now, claim it, and it is yours for $7. Let me know if your screen looks blurry, please. While I look at the connection on StreamYard, it looks crystal clear. So I think it's a Facebook thing. Oh, that looks a little better. We have less than an hour left to go on the show. Still got some great things to show you. Okay, cool. Thank you, Robert. Okay, we're moving on to the next book. Please remember, everything is still up for grabs. Great issue. I liked Volume 1 of Spider-Woman because Marvel decided to go with a supernatural slant for the stories in this book. This is a Bronze Age Marvel Comics claim item. It is Spider-Woman, Volume 1, number 10. Spider-Woman Volume 1, number 10. The story is by Mark Gruenwald. The art by Carmine Infantino. With inks by Al Gordon. The cover. Oops, hold on one second. The message is coming through. All right, I was saying. Whoops. As I was saying, the cover is by Carmine Infantino with inks by Bob McLeod, who worked on that New Mutants issue I just had up. This issue is the first appearance of the villainous Gypsy Moth. This issue came out in January of 1979. The grade range is between 7.5, very fine minus, to 8.0, very fine condition. This is a buy it now issue. Claim it, and it is yours for $8. $8, and this issue of Spider-Woman number 10 from Volume 1 is yours. Who do we have joining us? Please identify yourself in the feed so that we can greet you properly. Please identify yourself. I see there's 3 people in the feed now. Please identify yourself in the feed so that we can see you properly. We can identify with you and say hello. We are going to move on to the next item. Everything is up for grabs this episode. Everything is up for grabs. We have no sales yet for today. Hoping that will change. All right, we've got ourselves a cool issue from early Bronze Age of DC. All right, here we have a Bronze Age DC Comics claim item. You are looking at Superboy, Volume 1, number 174. This issue is from May-June 1971. The grade range is 7.0, very fine, fine, very fine, to 7.5, very fine minus. It features stories by Otto Binder, Joseph Green, and Jerry Siegel, who is the co-creator of Superman. The art is by George Tapp, Kurt Swan with inks by George Klein, John Sikela, and Al Plastino. The cover is by Kurt Swan and Murphy Anderson. I've never met Kurt Swan, and both Kurt Swan and Murphy Anderson have been dead for many years, but I did know Murphy Anderson when I worked at DC Comics. Murphy Anderson had pretty much retired from drawing and inking comics. He did that mostly in the 60s and early 70s. And then he opened up a color separations studio. And he took care of the color separations for DC's comics, which meant they had to prepare the color for the printing, which means they had to separate the colors on the cover and on every page into its 4 elements. For print, the code would be represented by the letters CMYK. C was for cyan, which was blue, which meant everything that was blue would be on one separate plate. M is for magenta, which is red. So everything that fell into the red category of the spectrum would get its own separate plate. Y is for yellow. So yellow would get its own separate place. And K is for black. Instead of using the B for the beginning of the word black, they use the K at the end of the word black. So CMYK. Every color got a separate color plate. And that is what the printers used to print up the book so that it's full color and that the colors lined up properly. And that's what Murphy Anderson used to do in his latter years. And by the time I met him, when I was working at the bullpen in DC Comics, that's how I met him. Because he would come and drop off work and pick up more work. Robert's heading out. He says, I think I'm going to head out here, work at 5:45 a.m. in the morning. Maybe next show I see something. Good night, Michael. Take care. Thank you for joining me, Robert. Always a pleasure. So this book is yours if you claim it for $17. $17. Buy it now. This book, it reprints issues from Adventure Comics Adventure Comics Volume 1. I'm sorry, sometimes I read faster. Adventure Comics Volume 1, number 219 from December 1955. Number 225 from June 1956. Number 262 from July 1959. Superboy Volume 1, number 53 from December 1956. And Superboy Volume 1, number 105 from June 1963. All right, my friends, we're moving on to the next book. Everything is up for grabs. All right, my friends. Now we have a Bronze Age DC Comics Reserve Auction item. It is Vigilante, Volume 1, Number 2. Vigilante, Volume 1, Number 2. In this issue, the story is by Marv Wolfman. The art by Keith Pollard. Keith Pollard and Pablo Marcos. The cover is by Keith Pollard. This issue marks the third appearance of Vigilante 2. From January 1984. The grade range is 9.0, very fine near mint, to 9.2 near mint minus. The opening bid is $1. The reserve, who knows? It looks like we're going to end things here. Too bad we didn't have any sales this episode, but that's okay. We'll be back next time with some more great comics and collectibles. From the diamond, modern, copper, bronze, silver, and even the golden age of comics. You have been watching Lightning Rod Collectibles Live. This has been episode number 460. I remain your host, Michael D. Lepine. Thank you for joining us. Who's with us? Who is that with us? Looks like we got some last minute people. Please identify yourselves so that we may say hi to you properly. Who's out there? Please identify yourself. Carl! Carl, how are you? Haven't heard from you in a while. You know, Carl, I have a book of yours that you wanted me to hold for you, but it's been several months and you haven't been on the show very often. It's a Spider-Man issue. If you would like, I can send that to you. You've already paid for it. But please let me know. I'll tell you what you've missed so far. Because you're coming in at the tail end of the show. This issue of Vigilante, number 2. Tell you what else I've got. We had an issue of Werewolf by Night, the original Werewolf by Night, number 4. We had the complete set of Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters. It's a 3-issue set. That's issue 1, issue 2, and issue 3. We had the Invincible Iron Man, issue number 110. Great Bronze Age issue. We have a 2-issue set of Fantastic Four, number 182 and number 183. We have Showcase number 97, first solo adventure of Power Girl. The Incredible Hulk Volume 2, number 206. The Hulk runs amok in that issue. Guest starring the Defenders. Chrysanthemum, Star Wars Tales, number 1. Featuring the Wookiee Bounty Hunter. That's a great issue. Let me show you what else. Tomb of Dracula, number 38. And then we also have the DC Prestige Series Batman One Dark Knight. This is issue number 1A. 1B rather, I'm sorry. And this is issue number 2. We have Iron Man number 200. Number 200B. The New Mutants. Volume 1, number 2. The Spider-Woman. Volume 1, number 10. Superboy, number 174, Early Bronze Age. And Vigilante, Volume 1, number 2. Plus, we had a Green Goblin mini bust from the first Spider-Man movie, the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man film. And that looked like this. And we also had a Funko Pop of the Mandalorian from Star Wars with the child, Grogu, sitting on top of a bantha. And stuff that we hadn't gotten to yet, but we were running out of time. The Star Reach #1 featuring Hulk and Superboy. How much? Or is it bidding? All right, well, let me go back. Hold on. Let's do them one at a time. Let me pull these. Here was Hulk. And the other was Superboy. Let me make sure I got them both in the shot. I do have them both in the shot. Okay, let me turn it a little bit. All right. Whoops. Everything else is good. All right. Let me go back to my Facebook page on it. Superboy is a buy it now. $17. Claim it, and it is yours for $17. From May, June 1971, the grade range is 7.0, fine, very fine, to 7.5, very fine, minus. It reprints Adventures of Superboy from Adventure Comics number 219, number 225, number 262, and Superboy Volume 1, number 53, and number 105. Those are all from the mid to late 50s, with the exception of Superboy 105, which is 1963. So $17 on Superboy. Now, as far as the Hulk, let's go back to that. The Hulk is also a buy it now, $10. You claim Superboy for $17. Thank you so much. And the Hulk is $10. The Hulk is... Let me go back to my notes on that. Volume 2, number 206. Story by Len Wein. Art by Sal Buscema. With inks by Joe Staton. The cover is by The cover is by Dave Cockrum. With inks by Sal Buscema. And that face of the Hulk is drawn by John Romita Sr. The Defenders show up in the last page. And you claim Hulk. Very good, very good. All right. Thank you so much. I wouldn't have had any sales tonight if you didn't show up when you did. So let's see. And do you remember many months ago you bought a Spider-Man issue from me? I think it was early Bronze Age Spider-Man that you paid for that I held for you. I still have it. It's still waiting to send to you. Would you like me to include that with these 2 issues and ship it off? Let me know. How about the Dark Knight Batman? How much? Yeah, I forgot about that book. And yes, you can include the ASM. Perfect, perfect. All right, let's go back to that that Batman series. That's issue 2. And this is issue 1. This is the variant cover on issue 1. Variant cover by Cliff Chiang. And the story is written by Jock. The interiors are drawn by Jock. And the cover of issue 2 is drawn by Jock. All right, let's go back to that one in my notes. Let's see, there it is. I was going to do it as a reserve, but I really need other bidders for a reserve. So I'm just going to do it as a straight up buy it now. So let me go back to my real notes. There we go. I will sell it to you for my reserve price. The reserve on this set of 2 issues, and this is not the whole series, there's more issues, but these are the only 2 I have. The reserve is $24. From February and May of 2022. The grade range is 9.6 near mint plus to 9.9 mint. Well, basically how it breaks down is issue number 1B is 9.6 to 9.8. Issue number 2 is 9.8 to 9.9. So, do you want these 2 issues? $24 for the pair. You claim it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, anything else? Would you like to know what I put up, I hadn't put it up yet, what I was going to put up, which was going to be pushed to our next show? Because I can show you that as well. There is, let's see, go into my notes on this. Here we go. This is Star Reach number 1. Star Reach was a spectacular fanzine which featured many of the great comic artists as they were just starting out. So this features a lot of Howard Chaykin and a lot of Jim Starlin, some Walt Simonson, and Steve Skeets, all at the beginnings of their careers. And this issue, being the first issue, and it's more adult. It's not X-rated, of course, but it's definitely more adult. This issue features the first appearance of Howard Chaykin's character, Cody Starbuck, who made a big stand in the pages of Heavy Metal. So there's that. The New Teen Titans Volume 1, number 10, featuring Deathstroke the Terminator. I believe it's the third appearance of Deathstroke. You've got the Justice League of America, number 66, with a great Neil Adams cover. It could use a little bit of pressing, but it's in great shape otherwise. This one I'm fond of, coming up. Epic Illustrated, number 26, featuring the conclusion of The Sacred and the Profane by Ken Stacy, and the first chapter of the Last Galactus story by John Byrne and Terry Austin. And it's got an awesome cover by Bill Sienkiewicz. Moon Knight, number 30, from Volume 1. Moon Knight, he has his second encounter with Werewolf by Night. One of the newest books from the Trial of the Amazons, Nubia and the Amazons, that came out within the last year. The Mighty Thor, number 231. Captain Marvel in Marvel Team Up, number 16. The Question, Volume 1, number 1, by Denny O'Neil and Dennis Cowan, with inks by Rick Magyar, and a great Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Astonishing Tales, number 5, featuring Kazar and Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom versus the Red Skull. I believe that's a Wally Wood issue on Doctor Doom versus the Red Skull. Swamp Thing, number 9, the great Bernie Wrightston cover. The Thunderbolts, Volume 1, number 10. It's when the world finds out who the Thunderbolts really are. And from Jim Aparo, Adventure Comics, number 439, The Spectre. So, are you interested in any of those books? Thank you, kind sir. That's all for me. I'll be watching more often now. My work's slowing up. Thanks for the preview. Nice books. Well, thank you so much, Carl. I appreciate you a great deal. And I say that I wouldn't have had any sales this episode if it wasn't for you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're almost out of time. So I am going to give Carl his props. And I will say to the rest of you, thank you so much for joining us. You have been watching episode number 460 of Lightning Rod Collectibles Live. Simulcasts on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. If you haven't, please go to our YouTube channel, Lightning Rod Collectibles, and subscribe. Please like and share our show on Facebook. And I look to see you again. It'll probably be sometime next week. I'll have some more great books. Let's see. Okay, that's one down for Carl. And Carl, if you're still listening, by the way, in a short while, after I end the show and have my dinner, I will send you an invoice via PayPal. I'll send it to you. I'll send a notification to you through Messenger. Here is Carl's props for Batman One Dark Knight, issue 1B and issue 2. Here's the third one. Bye, everybody. See you next time.